Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. All right, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves settled down and ready for today's celebration. Thank you all for joining us. No matter if you're watching us online or you're here in the sanctuary on our campus, we just want to say thank you for joining us here today. And I want to remind you that every day is a day for transformation, spiritual deepening, and heart connection, no matter what's going on. Every day we learn and practice something important that makes a difference. We love that you are here with us today on this journey to paint a new picture for 2022. So now let's get it started with the CSL Dallas music team as they set the tone for today.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Do you mind standing with us this morning? Right? You all got to join in, clap some hands, all that good stuff. Everybody make a joyful noise. Everybody make a joyful noise. You know how to make a joyful noise. Clap your hands and lift your voice. And everybody make a joyful noise.
Everybody lift your voice in song. Everybody lift your voice in song. Come on, lift your voice in song. You can do it, sing along. Everybody lift your voice in song. Everybody clap on 2 and 4. Everybody clap on 2 and 4. Clap your hands on 2 and 4. Make it louder even more. Everybody clap on 2 and 4.
Living the life's the way to go. Living big for love's the way to go. Living big's the way to go. Do it, let it flow. Living big for love's the way to go. We intend to make a joyful noise. We intend to make a joyful noise. You know how to make a joyful noise. Clap your hands and lift your voice. Everybody make a joyful noise. Everybody make a joyful noise. Everybody make a joyful noise.
I was like, I want one more. All right, well, because of this song, when I say joy, you say joy back. Is that going to be okay? Joy? Joy. 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 All right. Good morning, CSL Dallas. Good morning. Joy? Joy. Y'all with me? Okay, good. My name is Chantel Bigby, and I am going to be your platform assistant today. Excited to be here as always. Seeing your faces in the sanctuary always brings me joy. Joy. There you go. Y'all are on it. And for those of you online, joy as well. Glad that you were here joining us. Joy. Yes, there we go. If you are here online, let people know that you're here. Let your tribe know that you're here. Check in on social media. And also leave us a Google review. I actually found CSL Dallas because of Google. So people like me, they need to also be able to just see the joy that is happening and all the good that is happening at CSL Dallas. So please leave us a Google review. At this moment, please join me in saying our purpose statement together. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. Joy. All right, everything is in bloom here at CSL Dallas, including allergies outside. I don't know if I'm alone here, but just excited for all of the joy that is happening. There we go. And all of the abundance of ways that we are offering growth in our community here. So few announcements that we want to share. First, coming up being our Empowered Living Circle. Empowered Living Circle. Join this group for uplifting discussions where we explore spirituality and connections from many viewpoints. This is happening every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m., starting in May on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m., okay? So make sure that you sign up. You can also sign up on our Dallas Law of Attraction meetup group. That's actually pretty exciting too. Or CSLDallas.org/event. So make sure that you sign up for this event. Joy? Joy. All right. We also have our Seder dinner coming up here. This is a Jewish tradition and an occasion of praise and thanksgiving for rededication to the idea of liberation. So this is happening this Friday. But we want to make sure we have enough food, y'all. So if you're in person, please head over to buy your tickets in Pankey Hall. For those of you online, if you're not able to be here today, make sure that you absolutely buy your ticket no later than Wednesday so that we have all the resources we need to make this an amazing Seder dinner. Yes. Joy? Joy? Awesome. We got some more good stuff happening here. Next Sunday, what is it? Easter celebration, Easter Sunday. It's going down here at CSL Dallas. Amazing. This theme for this year is Paint a New Picture of Humanity. Does that sound good to y'all? I'm going to say it one more time. Paint a new picture of humanity. We need this right now. So I'm so excited that we are making space for this to happen on such a special Sunday. We're also having live artists to help us paint this new picture of humanity. So please join in on the fun. Speaking of also some jams that took place, we're having a community jam session. Yes? Joy? Joy through jam. Can we do that? Can we make that happen? So please celebrate with us. Bring your talent as well. This is happening on April 29th. It's our time to shine. It's your time to shine. We also have our very own special MC, Kirby. Joy? Joy and talent.
Can I tell you real quick?
Yeah.
I have 2 names signed up right now. I'm gunning for 4 today. If I could get 4, that would be
We can do
awesome.
that. We can do that.
For the open mic.
Yeah.
Open mic, yes.
Open mic. There we go. We can make that happen. All right. In the spirit of joy and play, we are having a playground garden party. So all of our tall ones and small ones in the Joy Village, please make sure that you help us to beautify our Joy Village playground. Other things that are happening, we do need some support if you are able. It's not required, but please bring items such as flowers, pots, soil, and any other colorful additions that you can bring to add to our playground. Does that sound good? Yeah. Does that sound like joy? Joy. Yes, it does. All right. Joy Village. Speaking of joy. Again, there is just so much good happening, an abundance of good things. So at this moment, I think I'm going to pass it back to our Joy talent team. Somebody got it. There you go.
1, 2, ready. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. Bells within, soul without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air,
with me to go within. Breathing in, and breathing out. Loving Spirit dwells in me. Loving Spirit dwells in us. How good it is to know and to remember that we are made in the image and likeness of the divine. That we are that we are, made of the very same substance. And as we remember that truth, it makes it easier to string together this moment and this moment and this moment and every now moment in a place of ease and grace. Somehow makes everything unlike it fall away, which allows us to paint a new picture, to go forth and be a masterpiece, to live as a masterpiece, to create the masterpiece that is the sacred, that is our lives, that is our actions, that is our beingness, that is our very essence. Somehow all seems precious. Somehow all is sacred. Knowing that it is always precious and it is always sacred because it is always loving Spirit dwelling within us. And as we live our lives painting a new picture, living as a masterpiece, we send that out into the greater community, and we send that out into our world. And then we are giving of our very essence, sometimes without even knowing it. We have permission to shine. We have permission to be so, so bright. So we be and we do and we have our being in that knowingness. With deep gratitude, we affirm this together by saying, and so it is.
Loving Spirit dwells in us. This is our divinity. As within, so without.
my past that's gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm relieved. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean. The mind creates all things, into my life it brings. Sweet rain that washes me clean. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
Team, thank you, band. CSLDallas band. Love it. Good morning. Woo-hoo! It is spring, isn't it? Isn't that great? Yeah, this time of growth and everything budding and the colors and, you know, the green, really green leaves. Have y'all started to notice the really green, not just green, but the green leaves? Anyway, yeah, it's just that time of the year, and this is a great time for us to continue to focus on and talk about. I have a spot I have to be on, and talk about the 6 steps to paint a new picture. So we are in the 6th week, which means we're wrapping up the 6 steps. We're not done yet, though, so I really want to invite you to take everything that we've been talking about for 6 weeks and come and participate either here in the sanctuary and or if you can bilocate, you can do both. Online, right, for next Sunday, which is Easter Sunday, paint a new picture of humanity. And the last week of the month, we're going to celebrate Earth Day and Mother Earth, and I'm going to be speaking with a special guest, and we're going to launch into some new things that we're going to share how our community's launching into really great things. It's actually called a force for good, so you don't want to miss either one of those, okay? So the 6th step. Our life as a masterpiece. And that's what we're talking about this morning, is our life is actually already a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. It's a one of a kind because you are a masterpiece. You always have been. The mere fact that you're here and you think about this through all of the eons, all of eternity, all of the billions of years, this is the one and only time spirit, life expressing as you, is going to show up. So you're a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, which means you're worth a lot, yes? Because those one-of-a-kind masterpieces are worth a lot, aren't they? You know, they sell them and just big dollars and put them in museums and these works of art. It shows how significantly worthy and worthwhile the art masterpieces are. Like this one is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that this community created together, and it was the unique masterpieces that helped to create the masterpiece. And thanks to Carl Thomas and setting that up last year, yes? And so we get to continue to enjoy this masterpiece. And so you are unique and precious. I just want you to soak that up. I invite you not to deflect it, right? And that the vision that you have for your life is also unique, it's valuable, it's beautiful, and you're the only one in all of creation, in all eternity, that is bringing that vision of your life forward as you hold it. So the next thing that I want to talk about in this, our life as a masterpiece is that you are the artist of your life. Okay, you are the artist of your life. They're tied together. Do not give someone else the paintbrush. Take it back if you've already done that. Say, I want my paintbrush back. I am the artist of my life. I am creating, the big I is creating this masterpiece. How many times do we just go, well, what do you want me to do? What is the vision you think I ought to do for my life? Well, you know, I have these choices and I don't know which one. And, I can speak from personal experience. Right before I was going into college, I had applied to a lot of colleges, and I was accepted to all of them, primarily Tennessee universities where I'd grown up. I was born in Florida, and my parents got degrees from both states and both universities, so I applied to those two. I had someone say, well, if you go to a Tennessee school, I'll pay your way, but if you go to a Florida school, I won't. You know, there was all kinds of dynamics going on. And I ended up going to the Memphis State University, which is now affectionately called University of Memphis. And so I was thinking about, well, what do I want to study? And I was exploring, and I had thought about being a teacher like my parents. I had thought about being a doctor because I wanted to be in service to people. And my dad said, you know what, Karen, you love people. You'd be great with people. I think you ought to go into sales. He had the brush. And I said, sounds great. I declared my major marketing with the concentration in sales from the get-go. Didn't explore through any classes. I gave him the brush. And Petra, now is going, I really wish your dad hadn't done that, because I also had a dream of like photography and stuff like that. But the point is, and I had a very successful 23-year career, don't get me wrong. And stressful. That was from the peanut gallery. But I did take back the paintbrush and said, well, I want to be in service. I love people. I love community. I love to inspire people and have them go further than they think they can go. I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to be a spiritual leader. So it doesn't matter if we've given this brush away. I invite you to take it back. If you haven't given it away, hold on to it, baby. Don't let go. We are the artists of our own lives. And so then it's also, and how much responsibility are we each taking for that? It's important to ask ourselves that question sometimes. You know, it's a paradox. I want responsibility for my life, and I don't. So we each can take responsibility for our lives because we have control of one thing, and only perhaps one thing: the power of our own thoughts, and the thoughts that we have and hold, and we can train and practice with our own mind. So we have the power of choice. We have the power of choice. And I'm adapting this from a quote from Ernest Holmes that basically says, the power of choice with which we have been endowed is either our greatest blessing or our greatest curse. Properly understood, he'll tell us, it can lift us to the heights. Misunderstood, it can drag us to the depths. And we are free to choose anything we want, asterisk, as long as it harms no one or nothing. But we must accept the responsibility of our choices because inexorable law will create our experiences according to our choices. So the universal law creates according to our choices. And he tells us that the responsibility of setting the law in motion is ours. I want you to hear this. In fact, I was so grateful that I got to listen to Dr. Petra's Science of Mind class this morning because it was really brilliant. And I was like, wow, I'm going to be speaking on just a titch of that, right? So it was a great add-on. So if you weren't with us this morning at the Science of Mind class, make sure you watch this later, right? But so the responsibility of setting the law in motion is ours. Okay? I want you to know that. I want you to get that. And he says, but the responsibility of making it work is inherent in its own nature. It's not our responsibility to make it work. It's the law's. Which takes a lot of things, but I have to set it in motion. That's my responsibility, right? So another thing that's really important in creating our masterpiece is creating a masterpiece and to know that it's a joy, not a dirge or a drudgery. It's a joy, that creating this picture actually can be a joy. Co-creation doesn't have to be hard. It's an expression. And so the other thing is to realize that to be more joyful in the process of creating your masterpiece is to be okay, that it's okay to want to have joy and to want to create your own masterpiece because there's no such thing as private good. There's no such thing as private good. When we paint our own picture joyfully, our life is a masterpiece. We are expressing and we are contributing, and it's ours to contribute, but we are contributing to the whole of it. So there's no such thing as private joy. It doesn't steal anybody else's joy. So all of our masterpieces, as we create them with joy, creates one really big tapestry, just like all of the individualized expressions in that parking lot last year. If you were here, you know that. You know, we put our own little drop, our own little blop, our own little bloop, our own little whatever. Mine is right there. I just want you to know. Right? And by the way, what y'all don't know is it took several days for it to dry, and Carl said now, you know, you need to leave it in one place and let it dry. And it was on a table upstairs in our conference room, and I thought for sure it was dry, and I wanted to make a little video. And so I thought, wow, why don't I just set this up, and that'll be my pretty backdrop to make me a little video that week. It wasn't quite dry, so it did this little blob. I feel it. It's right there. It's the other way. It was the other way at the time, and it made this little blob bump. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to kill me, and it was a mistake. But you know what? I love this in this masterpiece. Yes. This picture would not be this masterpiece without that. So I invite us to remember, and all of our masterpieces make up a tapestry, and it does shift, and it does change its shape. And sometimes there's a blob and a bloop in the middle, and that's okay. And this is the experience of the whole of humanity. What if some of these bleeps and these bloops and these blobs and the things that are so painful in humanity are the only way that we could create the masterpiece that is being created? That one day we get to go, wow, look at that. Humanity got it right, finally, right? So I'm inviting like this joy-filled accumulation. And there's joy in the journey, right? And so in the process of becoming and this joy of painting our own masterpiece, it's not about getting to something so I can stand back and go, it's done. Look at that. Whew, thank goodness. So I can go, man, look at that. To say it's done. No, we're so destination oriented sometimes, or maybe it's just me. But what if we were to know that this whole process is where we put the ing in painting? It's the journey, and to not miss those moments of the journey, that living it as we paint is actually the masterpiece, not the end result. Because I don't know about y'all, I think if I'm in the end result, my body's gone, dropped, and I'm D-E-A-D, dead. Not ever dead, but you know what I mean, this expression, right? And so the joy is in the journey. Ernest Holmes tells us that we must become artists in living. To live by inspiration means to sense the divine touch in everything, to enter into the spirit of things, to enter into the joy of living. And I want to speak to the parents especially. And I feel so great that I get to have some semblance of this as a grandmother for the past 2 years. Think about growing a child. And if you've never been a parent, you may have a pet. So if it started as a puppy or a kitty or a little birdie or whatever, right? Growing something that you love. Maybe it's a garden or a home project, right? Think of the journey to be with each moment instead of, well, I can't wait till he or she is 25 and they're out of my hair and they're out on their own. These moments, I've realized this now, it's helped me in the entirety of my life to soak up every moment that I have this past 2 years. Don't miss it. It's the journey of growing a child. Don't just sit back at 20 and go, yep, there it is. I helped paint that masterpiece, right? So I had a joy in the journey of 10 years it took to become an ordained minister. 10 years. From the first foundational class and those classes to classes to become a licensed practitioner, a licensed spiritual coach, and I didn't want to miss that because I was like, well, if I have to become a practitioner first in order to become a minister, I would have missed that, right? And then decided to go into ministerial school and get a master's degree in consciousness studies, but every class, every paper, every day, to have the joy in that journey. And then y'all know for sure, because you've been around me for 8 years, once I was ordained didn't mean that I was finished. Goodness knows, I still have growing and practicing and things to learn and be, right? And so that brings us to the last one. Painting a masterpiece takes time. It takes a little time. And when you paint a new picture of your life, it's not necessarily an instant manifestation, is it? Is it? We each have to work it and rework it. And well, I don't know about that. Put an extra little layer on it, or maybe I need to put some paint over that right there, right? And to continually let it emerge. Let it emerge. Whether it's attracting the perfect job or you know, the masterpiece of your life as a whole, let it emerge. It doesn't happen overnight. And allow the vision of your masterpiece, allow the vision to pull you into the canvas more. Make adjustments, rework it. Try something new. Maybe it's a paint color you never thought you would, or a different brush, a different stroke. And then 5, 10 years later, whatever it is, yes, you get to enjoy, wow, this is really taking place. This is the life as me masterpiece. So we're going to do something together to wrap this up and make a collective masterpiece of all of our individualized expressions and bring them into a tapestry together of this community, both in this sanctuary and online. So I'm going to ask Peter to come up, and we're going to have this beautiful ritual as we create a masterpiece of our life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I loved what Karen said. It takes time, right? And if you've been on this journey, as we've been on this journey together for the last 6 weeks, I am thinking that you've probably just tiptoed into the vision that you are wanting to create. Remember, this is out of our sacred disruption, reimagine everything. Our lives have been so disrupted, and we don't want them to just unconsciously fall back into the old shape. And so we've been working on this collectively for 6 weeks. And this beautiful arch, the ritual team had designed and developed for our burning bowl. Which we usually do on January 1st. And so we've been systematically throughout our program, we've been actually doing our burning bowl ritual, and we are completing it today. It seems particularly important and appropriate to underscore what Karen said. Next week, Easter, we're talking about painting a new picture for humanity. And as Chantel said earlier, we certainly do need one, given the issues of war in the Ukraine and around the world, the challenges of climate change, which we are going to be talking about on Earth Day, paint a new picture of our relationship to the earth, and the idea that our good is always intertwined with the good of the whole. We cannot have private good, because our good does in fact create the masterpiece of humanity and how we live together on the planet. I think the heartbreak of watching some of the reports, especially this most recent one out of Ukraine, with the train station having been blown up, and each time that we see a person of color who's lost their life in an inappropriate interchange with the police, or all the ways in which climate change is disrupting people, what we see is, what we feel in our hearts is, we feel the loss of that individual masterpiece. And when there is a lot of that happening, it feels like whole portions of our tapestry are being damaged and wiped out. And so we want to lend our consciousness and our intention to that. So you have received a prayer flag. This is your prayer flag. And in a moment, we are going to take a little bit of time to reflect. So I'm going to ask you not to do anything about it for a moment. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen. For those of you online, we're going to ask you to participate by responding to the instructions in the chat. Our ritual team that has put this together, they have prayer flags for you. And what you put in the chat, they're going to be writing on a prayer flag for you. So I'm going to, when we get to that point, you're going to write on one side of your prayer flag, you're going to write something about the new picture you've been painting in your life. financial freedom, perfect health, deeper experience of the one, whatever you've been working on over these last 6 weeks, or the thing that you really want to express in 2022, this new vision of your life out of the sacred disruption that we've been experiencing. You have a crayon, it works really well on the cloth. You're going to write on one side what that is about. On the other side, because there's no private good, we want you to write something about the masterpiece of humanity. Spirit does dwell within all of us. That just doesn't mean all of those who are in this room or who are online with us. That means all of us and all of creation. And so we're going to have an opportunity to write on this back side the vision that we have, that we would like to paint a new picture for all of us together. So it doesn't have to be more than a couple words, but you can certainly write a whole sentence if you choose. Again, I'm going to remind the people online that as we're thinking about this, when you come to something that you're going to write in the chat, please write both of them at the same time, your individual words and your words for humanity, so that when our ritual team picks it up out of the chat, they know those two go together and they go on the same strip. So I'm going to invite you to go within for a moment. Just take a breath. We've been talking about paint a new picture. And now we're going to joyfully, collectively create a tapestry. Just allow those words to come to your mind that would capture the essence of the new picture that you're painting for your life. Allow the words that would capture the essence of the new picture that you're painting for humanity to come to your life, to come to your mind. And as they come to your mind, I'm just going to invite you to take a moment and to write whatever it is that you want to write on your prayer flag, which you are going to hang onto this prayer flag altar in just a moment. Remember, those of you who are online, please write it in the chat. while everybody's busily writing, So I'm just going to let those of you know who are watching this video not this Sunday morning, that this arch is going to be in our fellowship Pankey Hall all year. That at any time you can come on campus, these prayer flags will be available. And we want you to add your prayer flag to our arch. We will be growing it all year. If you are never on campus and you watch this video anytime in 2022, we invite you to send an email to info@csldallas.org with the words that you want to have on your prayer flag. And we will make sure that they get written and then they get added. Because as Karen said, it takes a long time to create a masterpiece. And we want to consistently be on the journey together of creating this masterpiece of our own lives, of the life of humanity, and the life of our planet. So if you have friends and family who are not able to be here today, or perhaps who don't watch us online, and you would like them to add their prayer flag, please bring them, or just bring their words. You will find this in Pankey Hall all year, that we can continue contributing our intention, our heart, our mind, our presence, our belief, and our trust, that we can in fact paint new pictures out of any war, any disruption, anything that doesn't look or feel like the wholeness of the one that we know is the truth. Thank you. So when the ritual team is going to do their beautiful work of organizing how we are going to come up here to put this information on, we're going to be chanting a beautiful chant, which is directly from words that Ernest Holmes writes often in his writings that we have in The Science of Mind, written by Lisa Ferrero and Etika Luckett. And Lainey's at the piano. She's going to teach it to us. Before she starts, I am going to let you know that Karen, come on up here. Karen and I are going to put ours on here first, and then our ritual team is actually going to come up here, and they're going to put on all of everything that was in the chat. They're going to put for you online. They're going to put all of your prayers on first. So those of us in the room will wait. They're going to do that. And then they're going to come and release you as you can come up. And during this time, we'll be chanting this beautiful piece.
The words are, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. There's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. There's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. There's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. There's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is God's life now. There's only
life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. Only God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only one life. Life is God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only one life is God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only one life is God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only one life is God's life. Life is perfect. Life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my
It's a masterpiece, isn't it? This is what we do together. This is why we do it together. This is how your light adds to the masterpiece. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to look like any other prayer flag altar that has ever been created in the history of the world. Right? It's ours. It's unique and precious, just like all of us. And we add this to all the prayers that have ever been prayed for the individual well-being of every human being of all of creation, and for all the prayers that have ever been prayed for humanity. Because we believe that speaking our word, painting a new picture, does in fact make a difference. So, go out and paint the stars. We love you so much. Joy.
I was right on target, wasn't I, early? Joy. You can say it again.
Amen.
All right, joy. At this time, we will have our greeters to come forward as we prepare for our sacred giving time. And then we'll also prepare to say our abundance affirmation together. Okay, y'all ready? All right, let's do this. Today, I keep my whole mind, thoughts, and expectations open to new experiences, to happier events, and to a more complete self-expression. Sharing my good with others, I allow all of my life to share with me the good of the universe. I expect a more abundant life. And so it is. So in the spirit of abundance and the spirit of also sustaining the good here in this community, we invite you to give today. We thank you for your gifts. Again, the gifts of your presence, of your smile, of your joy, of your talents, and also your financial contributions that, again, sustains the life of this community. So thank you for that. All right. Oh, and if you're online, you can give too. So please give through either texting the word give to 972-954-4404. You can also give through our website, CSLDallas.org. What else, other ways can you give? QR, we got a QR code, y'all. We are hip on it, all right? So there's that opportunity as well. Okay, so also speaking of opportunities to continue to create your masterpiece, we have some amazing classes going on. First one is actually starting tomorrow night. This is called Building a Healing Consciousness. I actually put that on my prayer flag, so I am excited about this one. It is both online and in person. It's a 6-week course, y'all, and it's just going to be amazing. So just make sure that you sign up for this on our website or in person as well. For our newbies, we got something for you as well. So if you are new to this practice, you might want to check out our Keys to Spiritual Practice, okay? And again, this is also an opportunity for you to plug in person and online. You're going to dive deeper into the science of mind, new thought, metaphysics, all of those good things. And it happens 2 Saturdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Another offering that we have is a creative thinking workshop. So if you are a person that is looking for inspiration, this is something that is for you. We invite you to bring your creative projects, your ideas, whatever you're working on, and you just want feedback from our community, bring it on in here. We also have a creative artist this month in our artist gallery, Jeff Rogowski, all right? We invite you to check out his beautiful art and contribute also to the art of this community as well, okay? And now, Also for spiritual mind treatments, head on over across the breezeway to make sure that you connect with a spiritual coach to make that happen. Again, if you're online, we have not forgotten about you as well. You can connect with a spiritual coach. A link will be in your chat box somewhere for an opportunity for you to do that. And now let's take a breath. And let's say joy.
Joy.
Let's say it's good to see you. Let's say it feels good to be seen. Yes, or now I'm going to pass it to our joy team. I just renamed y'all, but love be with you.